I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
Tetsuo, the Iron Man, is a 1989 Japanese tokusatsu cyberpunk horror thriller film. Whew, man, y'all ready for this? That's been written, edited, produced, and directed by Shinya Tsukumoto. A metal fetishist driven mad by maggots wriggling in a wound he's made to embed metal into his flesh, runs out into the night, is accidentally run down by a Japanese businessman and his girlfriend. The pair dispose of the corpse in hopes of quietly moving on with their lives. However, the businessman soon finds out that he is now plagued by a vicious curse that transforms his flesh as iron. Now, as a kid growing up, I was introduced to this anime called Akira. And as I was watching this film, it was a very good anime. Very, very good, memorable anime. But the way how the anime ended, it left us with a lot of unanswered questions, I guess, so people can read the manga. But the anime ended with a known character known as Tetsuo Shima begins to go to this environmental phase, and we begin to see the ultimate fate of his character. We don't know if he died. We don't know if he transcended. We do not know if he ended up turning into that wiggly thing that we saw in that movie with Scarlett Johansson called Lucy. But whatever happened to him, we don't know. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because shortly after I found out about Akira's existence, I ended up finding out about Tetsuo, the Iron Man. Now, I thought that this was a continuation to Akira, but they had Tetsuo's, like they wanted to continue off with Tetsuo's story. I was a kid thinking this. And can you blame me? I mean, if you look at the picture of Tetsuo from Akira, and you look at the picture of this, they both look identical. I mean, the same type of fucked up shit that's in their faces and stuff. And anybody could have been fooled with this, but it comes to the lack of research. And for some reason, I never gotten that close to jumping into the water to try to watch this film. And thank God I didn't as a kid, because I would have been very disappointed. And the reason I'm saying that is because I watched it now, and even though I know that this has nothing to do with Akira, I came in with an open mind, knowing that this is a standalone film with a different character with the same name that has nothing, again, to do with Akira. This movie is bad. This movie is trash. This movie is terrible in almost all aspects. And there's no other way to say it. Now, people have been praising this film, giving this film good high recommendations to people who love horror films, cyberpunk thriller films, or just a creepy factor of you feeling uncomfortable. I agree with the creepy and the uncomfortable factor, but everything else, man, there are other films that has done it way better, especially when it comes to the pacing and the dialogue of how we get pulled in with the characters themselves. Let's start by the beginning of the film. We get pulled in pretty quickly, and I don't really blame the producer and the director and the writer and the editor, because this film is only an hour long. It's only an hour long, so you can't really go that deep into the character detail and dragging, since this film is only an hour. So we already introduced with the car accident and how things get taken place. Now, what really made me uncomfortable, not in a good way, but just in the way of me dodging the likeness of me trying to get entertained with the film, is just how it was shot, how we was introduced, and how it was a camera. The camera was shaking a lot. All I'm saying is that the films that I've seen from back then up until now, you can go around that. You can do better than that. The last thing you want to do is make your fans and people who was watching this film feel like they're about to have a headache or nauseous when you begin to watch a film like this. And that's what I was beginning to feel like. The acting was just as bad too. And it's sad, because this is when things was beginning to get bad and people was beginning to get infected by this iron curse. I wanted to see how the drive was going to be with these characters. Am I going to feel bad if they get infected? Am I going to feel some sorrow and compassion and begin to wish that these characters would live on? They want you to feel that way, but by the bad acting and the terrible pickup lines, I wasn't pulled in at all. Shinya Sakamoto, that plays as Yatsu, I'm sorry. Holy shit, he's the person who made the film. He is a main character in this film. And, oh Lord, have mercy, I'm really about to dog this film out because his acting is just as bad as the production. Man, I really don't have much to say about his acting. His acting is non-believable. His acting did not pull me in, and when things got bad, I didn't really care much about his character. I don't know what really stood out for me more that made me didn't want to watch the rest of the film was the fact that the camera was so badly shot, or the fact that the shaky cam was getting in the way of that, or the fact that I was feeling nauseous, or the fact that the acting was getting in the way of everything for me not to believe everything that was going on. Probably a combination of all. Even the sex scenes was a little bit lacking when it comes to the believability. Now, I'm not saying that they should have really had sex, but come on, man, put some effort into it. There were times when Yatsu's character would literally pipe down his wife, and I was beginning to feel like they was just not really doing anything at all, especially when they was using certain positions that I would not see in any flick, in any movie. I'm like, y'all really think people are gonna believe that? Y'all should have a real actor like myself. I would love to have a scene like that, especially if I begin to find, do my own positions on that film. If I gave that girl the jackhammer, trust me, she would feel the penetration. Let's talk about what the film does right now, since I got all the bad stuff out of the way. At least I think I did. Let's talk about the Iron Curse itself. Now, this is where the film pulls me in a lot, despite all the bad acting. I wanted to see how this Iron Curse was going to affect other people. And I have to say that it really did make me get pulled in, especially when they showed some scenes that stood there for a very long time. And I was beginning to feel that uncomfortable edge of films that are foreign, films that are made in Japanese, and just Korean films in general. I got welcomed back into that. But then they fucked that up too when it comes to the bad acting ability when people was beginning to get infected. I mean, non-stop screaming. And it's not screaming as in you felt like there was in pain. It was like stupid, retarded screaming, like non-stop, nonsensical screaming, like and it be in your face for a while. And I'm like, oh my God, I get it. I understand. Your leg has been amputated. I get it. I understand. Half of your face is gone. I get it. I understand. You have killed some people, but come on. Let's be real with this, please. I will say this though, the film is very bloody, very creepy, like very, very, very brutal. And I think the main strength of this film is just the uncomfortness of the tension. Like, the tension will hit you, especially when you begin to see how Yatsu's character begins to run away from the main people. The people that's infected is what I'm essentially saying. And when they showed that scene and when he was getting chased by certain people that was in the city, I was like, what the fuck, So that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty well done with what the film is going to be showing you, especially when we want to see how these things are going to be taking place when it comes to the infection. Overall, this film, it's bad, but if you're coming in for what I've mentioned with the creepiness, with the uncomfort visuals, the blood and gore that stays in your face for a long time, you're probably going to enjoy the film. I wouldn't say this film is a masterpiece like all these other kumquats are saying, but especially now, because you can easily oversee that shit. But I'm gonna have to say this film is a hard pass. I don't know if it's gonna be a pass depending on if you want to watch the sequel though. I'm gonna have to give Tetsuo the Iron Man a D. I keep hitting this film with punches. I keep hitting this film with praise. But it's because I see where the producer and the creator is trying to do, and I actually like the idea. I do like the fact that it's like a revenge film. I do like the idea. But the fact that the fact that everything was falling in place the way it was not successful. And it kind of makes me nervous about the sequel, Tetsuo 2, Body Hammer. Manga has taken that film and made it. And produced it. So I do have some hope, because manga has not really let me down with their films. But this is the only real film that they have made. I didn't know it was already time for me to stop. But anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.